to.
Yeah. Ready? You're on, don't you? All right.
Got this.
You got it, man.
Dylan, can you hear me?
Hey.
David from Rivals. As long as we've covered you, Dylan, you're not the kind of person that likes to talk about themselves, but SEC Co-Player of the Year. What does it mean, and what is it a recognition of?
No, it means everything to me. It's awesome to be recognized as that. I mean, I just can't thank my family and my coaches enough for this awesome accomplishment. I mean, I don't know where I'd be without them, so I'm very thankful and very blessed.
Dylan, the weekend that y'all had at the bat, with the at bats, I mean, what was kind of like, I guess, what was the reasoning for it? Because, you came off this 3-game sweep by Ole Miss. Like, was there a players meeting? What kind of went on to kind of flip the switch?
I mean, I think I guess we kind of use it as fuel, really. I mean, it's tough coming off of a three-game loss series against Ole Miss. I mean, we knew it was at stake. We knew we needed to win 3 games or get to that 17 win mark to kind of, hopefully get in that 4th place spot. And we knew it was at stake, so we went all in, and we did what we needed to do.
Dylan, critique yourself a little bit as a hitter. What did you improve upon this year, and what do you still have to improve upon? Like, because I know I've never met a hitter who's perfect. So what do you need to improve upon?
Yeah, I mean, throughout the season, about halfway through, I made some adjustments, kind of get my foot down a little earlier, and really just it allowed me to see the ball a lot better, and spit on some pitches and kind of work some counts, and it helped me out a lot throughout the year. And really, I feel like what's going to take me to the next level is just, really working the counts and spitting on pitches and hitting and crushing mistakes. And once I do that, it's just going to take me to the next level.
Yeah. Hey, Dylan, Glenn West here. I guess just kind of talk about, obviously, the SEC tournament. You guys obviously have a great history as a program of doing very well in that tournament. You guys are probably on the bubble right now of being able to host a regional, and obviously a good showing this week would help that cause. Just I guess talk about this week and just kind of what it means for you guys as a team in this tournament.
Yeah, it's awesome to be here. It's awesome to get that 4th place spot and be able to have a bye on Tuesday and have an extra day off. Really, we're pumped to be here, pumped to be in the position that we're in right now, and we just need to win. We need to take every day like it's our last day. I mean, every day is a playoff game for us. So, we're going all in on Wednesday, and whoever we play, we're ready for it.
Where do you think you have grown the most as a hitter? I know this season you had your first sack fly earlier, but yeah, where have you grown the most?
Yeah, I think really just scoring runs when I needed to, really. I mean, I know at one point last year I was like, I don't even know, I think I was like 0 for 11 with like runners in scoring position, and one of my goals was just kind of like really get those runs in and really focus on driving those runners in, get my RBIs up. So it really, having Jay and having the staff over here, it's been awesome. They worked with me every single day, and it's been great. I mean, we've had a lot of swing and visual adjustments, so it's been very helpful, and I've been able to do what I need to do to win ball games.
Just Dylan, to follow that up, sorry, just one more. I know that Jay said that after Tuesday night's game, you came into his office and talked about hitting for like until after 11 p.m. What were the conversations that you were having, and what are you having after you have like when you're doing so well and it's a Tuesday night game?
Yeah, just Tuesday midweek games are a little tough sometimes. I mean, yeah, they're midweeks, but like you see a new pitcher like every inning, it feels like. So yeah, I went into his office and just, had him look over my swing, really, just see what see what he says. You know, it's just little things here and there. I mean, if I just go in there, I feel a lot better at the end of the day. You know, I don't really care how late it is, but if I just go in there and they give me information on, you know, what I need and what's wrong with my swing or what's just like approach, really, I just feel better at the end of the day. And I'm happy that I can go up to them and I'm able to do that.
Dylan, just for a second, just these last 2 weeks, just the emotional back and forth of having one historic thing happen against Ole Miss, and then to do something that LSU had never done against Vanderbilt, and to get to 17 wins in conference, to be in position to have some momentum going into the SEC tournament. How is a team, because there's a lot of youth on this group, how has this team kind of just emotionally stayed together and then been able to focus constantly when you've had these setbacks throughout the season?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's obvious that we've had a lot of setbacks this year, a lot of injuries. So really it just comes to who's going to be the toughest at the end of the day for us. I mean, yeah, we had a pretty tough weekend with Ole Miss. But again, we knew it was at stake. We knew what we needed to do to we obviously want to win, host a regional, host super regional. So we know what we got to do. We got to get to those win marks. And, you know, we were able to pull it out against Vanderbilt. And then we still got a job to do over here at the SEC tournament.
Dylan, talk a little bit about you in the field. Last year, you were that corner outfielder, and now you're the quarterback of the outfield, center field, doing everything you need to do. Just talk about the progression you've been able to make as in terms of Dylan Cruz, the fielder.
Yeah. I played center field all throughout high school. I mean, that was my spot in high school. So it wasn't really a big transition. You know, that was probably my biggest goal coming into this year was my outfield, not really anything hitting. It was just really my outfield. I wanted to improve my routes, my speed, my arm strength. So that was my biggest goal. And I worked on it every single day with Coach Chief, Coach Wanaka. And yeah, they helped me improve on that. And I'm just happy to be where I am today with that.
Hey, Dylan, congrats on the SEC Co-Player of the Year honor. This question might sound kind of random, but you've obviously specialized in baseball for a little while, but I think you played some football in your life. Has Coach Johnson, is there anything that he does that almost sounds like seems like a football coach, because he's been heavily influenced by that sport in his life as well? Or does he ever just like make football sort of references around the ballpark or anything like that? Does it ever come up?
I mean, we do a lot of visualization work, really, you know, visualizing, going out there and performing and doing what we got to do, doing our jobs. That's probably the biggest thing. I mean, he'll give us, you know, some videos to watch, some motivational videos, giving us that kind of like football mentality, that grittiness that those football players have. Yeah, I used to play football growing up, so it's kind of in my blood a little bit, just going out there and having that grittiness. So yeah, just he gives us that football mentality a little bit, and you know, it carries on for us for sure.
What sort of motivational videos or anything like
that? Just really like some movie, like motivational speeches that are in some movies, really. That's really it. I mean, nothing really special. Just he's really good at getting us going, and you know, I'm happy for that.
Hey, Dylan, obviously with, you know, this tournament style, you know, that you guys are walking into here, does anything change, I guess, from a preparation standpoint for you guys? Just, I guess, kind of walk us through that. You know, obviously you could be playing, you know, as many as 3 or 4 games here in 4 days. Just, I guess, just talk us through maybe what the preparation is like for a tournament like this.
Yeah. I mean, right now, every day is a playoff game. We're playing it like it's our last game, really. So, we have a few days off now that we got that bye. So kind of sit back and wait in a little bit, see who we play. But that's not going to change anything, really. Coach is really good at getting us going, getting our minds right, getting us prepared for these moments. So, I mean, we prepared for these moments all throughout the fall and early in the spring too. So whatever happens, we'll be ready for it.
Against Auburn this year, you guys lost 2 or 3. You haven't played Kentucky. Those are the 2 teams you could face. Like you said, your approach doesn't change. The things you want to do don't change. But when it comes to Kentucky, a team you haven't faced, do you guys have you started thinking about that and looking into the scouting reports there? And then what have you learned, you think, from what you took against Auburn the first series you guys played against them.
Yeah. I know Kentucky's a great program. I think they took 2 from Tennessee. So, you know, with all these teams, man, you got to take it like they're the best of the best, you know? So, you know, losing 2 from Auburn. We know what to expect from them. And I feel like we're a way better team now than we were at that point. So we're just going to be way more prepared right now. And we know what to expect from them.
Any more questions? All right.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Jay, David from Rivals, you knew what you were getting. You knew what you were getting when you had Dylan. But just talk about when you get to see it in person every day. Did he live up to those expectations? And just, you know, obviously he did with the SEC Co-Player of the Year, but just talk about the season he's had.
Yeah, I'd say actually probably exceeded it. You know, there's a lot of reasons why I was interested in taking this job, you know, for the long term, but in the short term, my first and only question for Scott Woodward was, does he have 2 years left? Like, is he a draft eligible sophomore or not? Because remember him as a young high school player when he was 15, right about the time he committed to LSU, you could easily see the special talent, the strength, the bat speed, how good and quality the swing was. So really not surprised, you know, with the high expectations of it. I think probably the thing that I'm most impressed with or pleased with about him is the caliber of character he has, the type of teammate he is, that equals or exceeds the baseball talent. And that's nearly impossible because the baseball talent is so good. I think he's been a great leader for our team and has emerged, obviously, because of his talent and because of his character. When he speaks, you know, the players listen. But just in terms of the at-bats and the impact on our team and our season, really immeasurable. I really believe he's like a once-in-a-generation type player for a coach to have. You know, I've been fortunate, you know, having Chris Bryant, having Jacob here with us as well, you know, and some really good players along the way, and Austin Wells at Arizona. You know, but he's as good as I've seen at the college level.
What were you able to add when you sit down and you meet Dylan Cruz for the first day and you're able to talk hitting? What did you try to add or tweak or something?
Yeah, I think more mindset probably than anything else. When you're a player of that caliber and the opponent knows how good you are, you get pitched differently. And so the first thing that he had to do was not press, not try to do too much. It's kind of the Barry Bonds effect where you might only get one pitch in at bat. You might only get one pitch in a game to drive, and the best guys, they do it and they don't miss it. He has that ability, but just probably more of just slowing the game down, you know, staying within yourself, not forcing the game. I'd say there, but he's really been a joy to coach. One of my favorite stories of the year is last Tuesday night after the Northwestern State game. I mean, we'd score 19 runs, get an important win for our team, and everybody's long cleared out of the stadium. And he's in my office talking to myself and Coach Wanaka and wanting to watch some video. And so just that work ethic, that character is really special. Like it's hard to really put into words or quantify that.
Yeah, I think you referenced that meeting to me this weekend. What kind of film do you go over with him, and like what are some people that you show him that maybe, you know, to like kind of inspire his swing?
Yeah, for me with Dylan, it's more of like you know, just the adjustments are so subtle because you don't have to do anything and he could be good, you know, and if not great. I think it's more of, like I said before, of the approach standpoint. You know, if we did anything, we got him in position to hit just a little bit sooner, and you could really see it when you watch some of the home runs. And him and Coach Wanaka have worked really hard on that. As far as right-handed hitters, Albert Pujols, when he was with the Cardinals, is That's the holy grail for me. And if you look at his swing back at that time in his career and look at some of Dylan's recent swings, you can see a lot of similarities. But no knock on Albert, but I don't know if he's quite as good an athlete as Dylan, but really, really special hitter. And I think probably the best compliment with that I could say is you can tell Dylan something between at bats and he can immediately apply it in the next at bat. And not all college players can do that.
Hey, Coach, can you just kind of explain how important this week is for raising your RPI? You guys are on the bubble for hosting. So can you just kind of talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see it as any different than any other weekend when you're playing in the SEC. I mean, every weekend feels like a super regional. And so, the players, they want to win every game that we play. And the only thing we can control is our approach to the games and our preparedness and our element of competing. And so that's what I need them to do. I mean, they know what's at stake and all of those kinds of things, but we'd love to play at home, but you don't have to play at home to go to Omaha. So I just think we need to stay in character and go for it and really improve. I mean, it's still 12 days away from the NCAA tournament, I believe, if my math's right, we'll want to use those opportunities both here in Hoover and when we get back next week to be ready to play when the NCAA tournament starts.
Hey, Coach, Glenn West here. I guess just, do you know anything about the history of the tournament with this program in particular? And I was wondering if you could maybe touch on that a little bit. And then also just, the preparation that it takes, I guess, to potentially face, 4 or 5 different teams in the span of a week. Just what does that kind of encompass?
Yeah, I think it's a good exercise for our team. I'll answer the last question first. I think it's a good exercise for our team, just as I thought playing in Houston was, where you play and then you play another team the next day. I think it's really good for the coaching staff, to have to adjust and prepare and get ready quickly. A lot of coffee being drug into the hotel by the coaching staff. With the players, it's important to take it one game at a time. It's very cliche, but it's like the old line from the movie Hoosiers. You can't think about the game in front of you until you take care of this one. I don't remember the exact quote, but Gene Hackman in Hoosiers. And I've lived by that in tournament play my whole career. And so I think it's good from that standpoint. Relative to the history, I mean, I'm a huge fan. I've always been a huge fan of the SEC tournament. I said this last week that it was another one of my draws to taking the job here. And just, when you woke up on the West Coast and you're in your office at 7:30 in the morning, there's a game on. And then, before you go out to practice, there's a game on. And then when you come in from practice, there's a game on. And you're eating dinner that night, preparing for your game, and there's a game on. And just the quality of the teams. I mean, I believe there's, probably nine SEC teams will have a chance to make the NCAA tournament, maybe 10 if a team gets hot and wins here. And I think it's the best showcase for college baseball in the entire country outside of Omaha. So I'm excited about it. I think our players are excited to be here. With that being said, the things that have made us successful this year are the things that we need to do this week to be successful. And it doesn't really change.
Hey, Coach, it's David Grubb. You talked about setting up the rotation was going to be huge for you going into the Vanderbilt series. How well do you feel like you've done that setting up for the tournament? And then secondly, just what do you think you learned about your team and the way that they competed and the way that they performed in a like you said, every weekend now is a super regional type situation, but to come out and perform as loose and as confident as they were. What did you learn about your team?
Yeah, good questions. As far as the pitching, we don't know our opponent yet, and we're not going to announce in the whole postseason. We're not going to announce our starter, just so you guys are prepared for that till 90 minutes before the game starts. But it makes no sense to announce it today, anyways, just simply because of we don't know who we're playing. With that being said, I think sweeping the series, getting moved to Wednesday. certainly helped tremendously. I think how the weekend actually stacked up helped out tremendously. Mikhail gave us a great start on Thursday, and then we brought in Eric, and he got out so quickly. I mean, his pitch count was really low. He actually finished that game. So when I decided to do that, it was like, okay, you're on the shelf until we get to Hoover. And then we get that early lead in game 2 with Ty Floyd doing a terrific job. And when the series was there for the taking, we were going to go right to Hasty. And so then he got 3 innings done on 30 some pitches, which was remarkable. And, we weren't going to bring him back the next day. So those 4 guys will have an enormous amount of rest, going into Wednesday. So I think we're well positioned. And then Saturday's game, we didn't really, nobody really extended, you know what I mean? So I think we probably came out of that series in as good a position as we possibly could.
Hey Jay, it's
Nick, I'm sorry. I just coached the part. What did you learn about your team?
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, yeah, sorry. No. Yeah, I think we really, when I came here, I felt like the mindset piece in my observations in the fall, the biggest thing that we needed to work on was improving mindset and I don't want to say controlling it, but growing up, maturing. And I think it was really evident this weekend that our players were in a really good headspace. And I think that's something they'll have to continue to be as you go into the postseason. I've promised them if they would continue to improve on that, that we would be very difficult to deal with or beat this time of year. And that obviously was the case last weekend, but that doesn't guarantee anything this week. And the nature of baseball is so different that, consistency is hard to come by, especially when you're playing great opponents. And, you look at our bracket, the one guarantee that we have is we're playing great opponent in any game that we play this week.
Hey Jay, it's Scott Rappelay from The Advocate. I think Norman Dale said, "Don't talk about the next step till you climb the one in front of you."
Thank you.
Is that what you're talking about?
That was it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great movie. I'm a sucker for a good movie quote, as people know.
Absolutely.
I heard Chris Blair talking on the radio today about your philosophy of everything pointing towards this. Obviously, the postseason is the most important thing. But what do you do? In what ways do you try to lead up to this point, or try to get your team to play their best this time of year? What are some of the things that are your tenets for doing that?
Yeah, I think a model of what I would call urgency with every game that you play. That way, when you get to the postseason, it feels as normal as possible. When I was at Arizona early on, we talked about treating every game like it was the Super Bowl. And I've kind of rephrased that to the season as a 56-game playoff. And therefore, when you get to the postseason or a playoff, you don't have to change anything in your approach. And so I think for the most part, we've done a good job of that. It's impossible in the SEC to win every game that you play. But I feel confident that we will play focused, we'll play loose. It just becomes a matter of playing good baseball. And so when you can simplify it to, it becomes all about the play and the fundamentals. You're not attaching anything else to it or adding any extra baggage to what you need to go do to win. That's usually a good space to be in as a team.
So any updates on Cade Doty, Gavin Dugas, Alex Malazzo, and Jacob Berry?
You're going to have to remind me. That was a lot of guys. Cade, we stabilized his shoulder the other day after he had the injury for a 24, 36-hour period. He's out of the cast brace, the soft cast, whatever. Looks good. The thing I'll say about him is if he can play at all, he'll play. I mean, the only fortunate thing about the injury is that's the toughest guy on the team, from a physical standpoint. We have to be smart about it, obviously, with his future and obviously wanting to get him right and ready for the SEC tournament. So that will play into whether he plays, when he plays, if he plays at all. Fortunate for us, we're still 2 days away from the game. I think there's been a marked improvement between Saturday and Monday, but, we'll obviously do what's in his best interest, for the 2-week term in terms of the NCAA tournament and for his career moving forward. I would assume he'll be a pro player after this year. The next one, Gavin Dugas, has improved. Swelling's gone down. He was not available last weekend at Vanderbilt. I just talked to Corey Couture before I got on this call, and seems like he's made some really good progress with the swelling going down. So that's good. Jacob Berry obviously lifted our team in a huge way this weekend. People ask me about the impact of him. Well, he hit 400 in the SEC, and you think of all the draft pick pitchers in this conference, that's a pretty big impact. I think I don't know how people haven't picked up on it more, but him going up and batting right-handed and being on base like 10 or 11 times against right-handed pitchers probably should have been highlighted more. That was pretty impressive. He got hit on the hand the other day. It's not broken, but again, was bruised. So again, that's probably a day-to-day thing. With, as much as I want to win here and play well here, we need him in the NCAA tournament. So that'll be a day-to-day thing. Alex Malazzo improved. Like, he was a little sore after the inning that he caught, but has improved throughout the weekend. It's moving good. I believe there was one more you asked me about, and I can't remember.
No, I think that's all of them.
Okay.
Hey, Jay. Eric Olson with the Associated Press up in Omaha. Going to ask if I can have you look back instead of look ahead. You just got done playing Vanderbilt. I'm doing a piece on Bradfield. And I wanted to just kind of ask you for your observation on just how much he changes the game, I guess, with his base stealing ability.
It's good to hear your voice again, Eric. Usually when I'm talking to you, that's a good sign. That means we're playing in Omaha. I'm a big fan of that. So thanks for jumping on our call. Enrique's one of the most talented players in the country. Again, another player like Dylan I saw when he was very young. And he's as disruptive a player as there is in college baseball. We felt like pitching him well was going to be the key to the series and keeping him off base. And our pitchers did an outstanding, not a good job, a great job. But it's something is coming when he's on base, the stolen base, and you can't stop it. And so the only way to stop it was to keep him off base. And thankfully, our pitchers did a really good job of that. And he's a special player, no question about it.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, in your career, have you seen a base stealer of his caliber? I know he's 42 for 42 this year. I think he's 47 straight or 48 straight since last year without getting caught.
Yeah, I don't have a comparable. I know I've seen guys with good stolen base numbers, but nobody that's that automatic. Matter of fact, I believe it was game 2. If he had gotten on base, I was actually going to go out to the mound and just tell the pitcher, like, don't even worry about it. I mean, stay in rhythm. You know what I mean? With your regular delivery to the plate. If he steals, he steals. Now we had like a 6-1 or 8-1 lead, but I was okay with giving up 1 run. If it was him running around the bases, we just didn't want to give up 2, but thankfully we got him out and I didn't have to do that.
Last thing I'll ask you, did you see the video of him stealing home against Indiana State?
Oh, yeah.
A couple of weeks ago?
Very well aware of that one. Yes. Yeah. We were prepared for it going into the series.
Thank you.
Hey, Coach, one last question. Can you just kind of explain how huge Collier Cranford and Braden Joubert, guys like that, are just stepping up, especially with the absence of Jacob Berry?
Love to talk about that. I mean, I saw Collier right when we got back to the hotel after game 3, and I grabbed him immediately and I said, hey, I'll remember this weekend for a long time, but from a personal, pride or proud, I'm so proud of him for that performance. I mean, we largely won because of his contribution on offense and defense. And, it's the day and age, and you hear coaches probably talk about it all. all the time. And when things don't go your way, you know, the tendency is for the young player to, what I would say, take your ball and go home or hit the transfer portal. And he didn't do that. And he didn't get a lot of reps or opportunities because he's playing on one of the best groups of position players in the entire country. And I could see it as the year was going along. I actually talked to Leah about this last week of, you know, he was working while he was waiting and he was improving while he was waiting. And I could actually see it. He didn't get a bunch of hits right when he first got in there, but each at bat was getting a little bit better. And the more at bats he got, the more comfortable he got and started making a real contribution on offense. So I'm really proud of him and have no problem writing his name in the lineup and really feel good about the contribution he can make offensively and defensively. And he'll need to do that for us to be successful in the postseason. And then Braden, sorry, I don't want to, what a week. I was really happy to see he was named SEC Player of the Week. Hasn't had, I mean, he's hit a ton of home runs, and I don't want to take that away from him, but hasn't maybe had the season that he wanted to have. You know, but continued to work, continued to grind. I've stayed with him for the simple fact that I thought his upside at his best was better than anything that we could substitute him for. And it was nice to see that pay off this weekend. I mean, you know, we went 10-2 against the SEC East and had a 10-5 road record, you know, and 4 of those opponents were as high profile as you get when you talk about, you know, Florida, Arkansas, Mississippi State, and Vanderbilt. And we largely had success at Florida and at Vanderbilt because of Braden's contribution.
Any more questions?
I think I had the last one. I wasn't sure who had asked the last one. I was just wondering if you could elaborate on the pitching that we saw this weekend. It kind of got overshadowed. And, you know, I think you talked about Bryce Collins getting that double play, but overall, what did you learn about your staff this weekend?
I think just the improvement is what I would highlight the most. I thought it was a good outing for Mikhail. He's had a great season for us. Something of note, I think we won 8 of the 10 SEC games that he pitched. And that's a massive contribution to our success. So you're excited to see him get back in form after 2 outings that maybe weren't his best. You know, Eric, I mentioned earlier, great performance. I think he's pitched his best. Other than the inning at home against Ole Miss, Alabama and Vanderbilt are the best he's pitched this year. Ty was terrific, executed well. Kind of off of the same things that Eric had success with the night before. Jacob Hasty came in and did a good job. And I think that was kind of a workmanlike performance because he threw 70 pitches only 4 days before in the 3rd game against Ole Miss. And I think that got maybe overshadowed a little bit. So I was really happy that we got him out at 35 or 38 pitches, whatever it was. And then Sunday was kind of Saturday, game 3 was kind of the sum of the parts and everybody, you know, kind of cutting up the game and doing their job. I thought for 5 hitters, Sam Dutton was terrific. I mean, he pitched outstanding. You know, the inning kind of got away from us. Riley came out and settled the game, I thought, and did kind of what he's done all year. Gave up some hits, bent, but didn't break. And then Blake Money, big strikeout that left the runner on 3rd. We gave up a leadoff triple and the guy didn't score. And allowed us to stay in the game to where, you know, a rally like we had was doable. You know, and then Bryce, I thought that's the best Bryce Collins has looked in the last couple outings. So really proud of those guys. That Coach Kelly did a great job calling pitches and they executed really well.
Jacob Hasty, when was the moment you realized you needed to start putting him in games?
Probably at Arkansas. I mean, you know, he was throwing well in some simulated game stuff. And it's really a cool story too. I mean, he dug himself a big hole by not performing very well in the fall or leading into the season in terms of just throwing strikes, but he threw against Grambling and the stuff looked great. And, you know, I said, hey, I'm going to put you back out there again. Like you know, that was good. And then when we went to Arkansas, I believe was the second time he pitched. And some of the quality pitches he made that night against a team that's capable of winning a national title, I thought, all right, maybe we're getting somewhere. And then when he backed it up the next time, I've kind of gotten to this point where I can't wait to put him in the game.
Hey, Coach, how much was using Hasty more just the fact you guys just need another lefty at the bullpen?
Huge. And my hope is this will be the last year we ever have that problem again. And, it's hard to get, first round pitchers, even at a place like LSU. My hope is we'll have that someday. But for now, just the ability to mix and match and cut up games. And I think we've proven you can find a different way to win when you don't have a Aaron Nola on staff. And, he's been a huge, huge part of that. And if you look at the back half of SEC play, we went 10-5, and you could point to him and go, he was the most significant piece that wasn't a part of the first half of the league schedule that really made an impact in the second half of the league schedule.
And speaking of pitching, another guy who's sort of stepped up recently is Ty Floyd. And how has he sort of improved to get to the point where now he can start on a Saturday and throw 5 1/3 one-run ball?
I think that one's both mental and physical. He's a very good athlete. Very good athlete. Like, he would be a guy that if you had to put a pitcher in the field, you could run him out there in the infield or outfield, and he'd probably do just fine for you. He's a good kid, hard worker, analytical, wanted to be good. But we kind of got some adjustment in how he was thinking about things mentally, and then physically, him and Coach Kelly have been working on developing his whole arsenal, and it's gotten much better. And he's got a great fastball. So the improvement of the other pitches have got hitters off the fastball just a tick, where maybe some of those extra base hits he's given up are now foul balls, and that changes the count and allows him to have success.
Coach, I've actually watched Tyler McManus grow since grade school, went to school with him. How do you think he's progressed over the season? You had a lot more times in the lineup than he did at the beginning, hitting wise, and as a catcher. How do you think he's progressed this season?
Yeah. We have a few guys that we added in the summertime that I can't even imagine where this team would be without them. Tyler's at the front of that. 9 home runs in SEC play from that position is significant. There was a while where he was really the only available catcher. So to continue to be able to manage the pitching staff and take really key at bats, I think my favorite thing about him in his contribution this season is none of it has been cheap. And what I mean by that is he has produced when we've really needed him to produce. And, that's, guys, some guys get hits, but some guys get hits when you really need them. And that's been Tyler. So his maturity and contribution, it can't be understated or overstated. You have to forgive me. I may be saying it wrong. But he's been a massive, massive piece of this team's success. And I wouldn't even want to think where we were without him.
Any more questions for Coach? Thank y'all.
Thank you, guys.